publishing this video 2 days early because today happens to be our 31st wedding anniversary. So this seemed a good opportunity to reflect upon everything I've learnt about marriage as Swedenborg describes it here in chapter 40 and in his other book, Conjugal Love. I've always found this part of Swedenborg's output a bit hard to get my head around, and I suspect that some of that has to do with the layers of tradition we've tended to read into what he wrote, traditions which have come from our Christian heritage. So while I've heard what many people say about marriage, I really just gave myself the space to learn what marriage is from the inside. A number of years ago, I led a short devotions with a group in Manchester, and I introduced the idea that Swedenborg has of marriage being eternal. After the devotions concluded, one of the participants came up to me in a state of shock at the idea that she was now stuck for eternity with the man she had divorced a few years before. We talk about marriage as an institution. We think of it like a legal contract. But what Swedenborg presents is a union of minds, and where no union of minds exists, there is no marriage. And that real marriage springs from the inner union we can all experience as individuals, the union of head and heart, of understanding and will, the union of what we know to be true and the good we desire. But Swedenborg also talks about the imperfect marriages, the ones where one partner dominates over the other, where there are separations, fights and disagreements, affairs and divorces. These are not marriages except in appearance only. And I remember my dad saying that this was the point that convinced him that what Swedenborg had to say was true, that he had a good grasp of reality, because some of the prominent church leaders of his own time were saying, in essence, that if we ignore divorce, it will go away. But what I've learned is that none of us begins with a perfect marriage. It can feel perfect on those happy early days, but all too quickly and easily the appearance is stripped away and the disagreements surface. And that's been the value of the legal contract and the public commitment to one another. It keeps us together in those times when we feel like pulling apart. And in keeping us together, it offers us the possibility to grow together, to become truly united as to hearts and minds. I also think that marriage is part of the means by which we grow as human beings, and that raising children together is like the final part of that education. Because if your partner doesn't bring you face to face with your own character, then your kids surely will. And in their testing of boundaries and their playing you off one against another, you learn what it really means to be united. And you learn to fail, to forgive and to try again. To fail again, forgive again, and try again. On our wedding day, I quoted a teaching colleague of mine who used to say, "Marriage isn't a word, it's a sentence." And I quickly added, I couldn't have picked a better cellmate. It's as true today as it was 31 years ago. So to Pam I say, I love you, my darling. Happy anniversary.